Putting eye drops in kids, toddlers' eyes can be really frustrating, sometimes traumatizing for the kid and for you. So I'm going to show you the best and easiest way to put drops in their eyes and some tips and devices that actually might make it easier. Let's focus in. Now, some of the earliest videos that I ever did was to show how to put eye drops in kids' eyes, but I didn't have the extra tips and devices in there. So here we go. Now, before we get started, make sure that you wash your hands. You will be touching the eyelids, and make sure that you have the correct eye drop bottle that you're going to be using, whether it's an antibiotic, artificial tear, allergy eye drop, and make sure that it's not expired and that the tip isn't dirty or contaminated. So you're actually going to have them lay flat on the ground. Now, if they can keep their eyes open, which is really hard for kids and toddlers, you're going to have them look straight up at the ceiling. Better yet, actually look up towards the ceiling. So they're actually be pointing their eyes up. And then you're going to show them how you're going to hold their eyelids. This is usually important so they can kind of trust the process. So as they're looking up, you're going to show them, without putting the eye drop in, that you're going to pull their bottom eyelid down, holding near the eyelid margin or where the eyelashes are, and pulling down. This will create more room for you to put the eye drop in, and this will allow them to trust you for touching their eyelids. The other tip is when you're about to put the eye drop in, don't hold the eye bottle way far away from the eyes, because once that eye drop hits their eyes, it can be jarring and startling and might make them less willing to let you do the other eye or future eye drops. So instead, when they're looking up at the ceiling, maybe come in from the bottom, near the bottom eyelid, and a little bit closer to the eye, making sure that you actually are not going to touch or scratch the eye. Or you can have them look to the side and come in from the other side, and that lets them not really see most of the eye drop or the bottle, so they won't have that anticipation or that anxiety waiting for the eye drop to get on their eye. Now, if they're like most kids, they're going to have a very difficult time actually opening their eyes and keeping their eyes open for the eye drop, and that's why this next part is probably the most popular way to put the eye drop in. You're going to actually have them close their eyes while they're laying flat on their back. They get to close their eyes, and this is probably why it helps so much, because they don't even see the eye drop coming. Now, you want to make sure that they're pointing their head straight. They're not leaning to the left or to the right, and sometimes you might need to help them by lifting their chin up. Sometimes they'll be tipping their chin down, and when you go to put the eye drop in there, it might run down their cheek a little bit easier. So make sure their head is straight, and you're going to do this next part really fast. You're going to do 1 or 2 drops on the inner corner of the eyelids by the nose. Now when you do it, when you put those drops in, you'll notice that the drops are staying on that inner corner, and the next part might be the hardest. If you can just get your kid to blink or open their eyes slightly, the eye drop will fall right into their eyes, and then mission accomplished. Some kids might be holding their eyelids really tight or be scared to open their eyelids, and you can actually help them if you gently grab near the eyelid margin where the eyelashes are, and you just need to pry it open just a crack, just a little bit, and that eye drop will fall right in there. Next part is important. Once the eye drop is in there, they might be tempted to jump straight up and start rubbing their eyes, and they'll probably rub a lot of the eye drop out. So if you can tell them to, hey, just keep laying down, you give them a tissue, they can maybe dab their eyes, but maybe try not to rub or get up or anything like that. Just kind of calm them down. Let them just dab with that tissue, and then they can sit up afterwards. Now, I know what you're thinking. My toddler or my kid is not going to cooperate with this. What do I do now? And that's this next part. Not very fun, and I would save this for last resort if they are completely unwilling to do any eye drops, and it's important that you get the eye drops in there. Then we're going to do this part. Now, before we get started, get the bottle ready. Maybe even open up the cap, get it right by you, because what you're going to do is you're going to get your kid, your toddler, your child, and lay them flat down just like we did, but you're going to position their head right between your legs. And then you're going to put each arm under one of your legs and actually pin their arms down, so then their arms can't get in the way of you putting the eye drop in there. And then if you can use your lower legs or your feet to actually pin their legs down, and hopefully they don't have Hulk strength and can bust through your grip. Now that you have their head pinned between your legs, this will make sure that they don't move their head left to the right, and this will free up your arms. Now you can grab that bottle really fast, putting 1 or 2 drops on the inner corner by the nose on the eyelid, and then put the bottle back down. They're going to be closing their eyes, screaming, crying, but then you'll have your thumbs to slightly open their eyelid and allow that eye drop to fall in. And then if you have a tissue ready, you can then dab the extra drop in their eyes and then let them up. Again, that part is not fun. I'd save it for last resort, but let me show you the other tips and devices that might make it easier, especially if your kid's a little bit older, maybe a little bit more independent. The first one is actually called Magic Touch, the eye drop helper, and it looks like a little thimble that you put on the tip of your finger. It's made out of medical grade silicone, it's antimicrobial and really easy to clean. But yeah, you just put it on the tip of your finger, you put the eye drop in the holder right on the tip there, and then as long as you can get that bottom eyelid down, you actually just gently put it on the bottom inside eyelid and the eye drop just flows right onto the eye. This is actually super nice if your child doesn't want to lay down, it kind of scares them, and you don't have an eye drop that falls into their eye, so you don't get that sudden surprise or anything. It just flows onto the eye, so it's really gentle and not really scary. With this one, the child can actually sit up, they don't need to tip their head back. So again, as long as you can get that bottom eyelid down and you can put the eye drop in there, then it's pretty easy. This is actually my 10-year-old. He actually prefers to pull his own eyelid down, and then I actually put the eye drop in there. And as you can see, it doesn't really startle him at all. He just gently closes his eye and we got the eye drop in there. So it's really easy, and he actually prefers this way rather than laying down. The next one is also a helper or a device called the Precision Dropper. And this one actually has a universal medical grade silicone applicator that you can put on the tip of your eye bottle. And it can work for pretty much any eye drop bottle that you can think of, because you can actually stretch this right over the tip and it sits right on there. Now what's super nice about this one is you can actually let the drop come out of the applicator and then it suspends the eye drop right on the tip there. So then you can actually have mobility to do whatever you want with it. And same thing, kind of like the Magic Touch, the one that I just showed you, you can pull down the eyelid and put it right on the inside eyelid there. Super gentle, it's not gonna scratch the eye. You still wanna be careful, of course. But this one's kind of nice because if your kid still wants to lay down, it's nice because you can still use this one. If you pull the eyelid down and put it on there, they won't get that sudden jolt of an eye drop or that surprise. In fact, some kids probably won't even know that they put an eye drop in their eye. And so it's kind of nice to use this one. A lot of moms might prefer this one because it suspends it right on there and it's easy. It's not a separate application to transfer the drop and then put it on the eyelid. This one is just right on the tip, so it makes it easier and faster. Now I will say there's maybe a little bit of a learning curve with this one, just being able to get the drop out and get it suspended and then not making any sudden movements where the eye drop might fall off. But once you get it after a couple times, then it's really easy to use. You can actually get both of these off Amazon, or they have their own website, but I'll put links below, the like button in the description, so you can check those out if you want to. Sometimes it's just nice to have, they're handy. I actually use them quite a bit. So yeah, definitely check them out. And if your kid's getting old enough, they want to do it all by themselves without any helper, check out this video right here. I go over the best and most proper way to put in eye drops. I hope this helped. Stay focused.